Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's B from Kongs R Us, and OMG, the news that just broke from the one, the only MichaelB the Game Genie about half an hour ago blew my mind that I had to get my Photoshop as quick as I could to put together a thumbnail and talk about this in lieu of our Friday nights that all of us that might be watching the Super Game Room dudes. I invited one of them to come join the show anyways. The one, the only MichaelB the Game Genie. What's going on, man?
What's happening, brother?
Thanks, man. Wow, so you just broke a bombshell for many of the retro arcade community, and for those that didn't have a chance to watch the Super Game Room dudes tonight and talk about it, I wanted to talk to somebody. So, I mean, you just dropped the news. How long ago did you find out?
Like literally, that was probably the worst video I've ever made in my entire life. Like very little work went into it. It was just, I was rushing, man. Like someone sent me the news on Twitter. They were like, "Do you know anything about this?" And I was like, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." I ran right to my computer and got to the website as soon as I could to try to get images and video of it before it got took down.
OMG, and it's still there. So, I mean, this is the website that I didn't know about. So Chapters Indigo is like a bookstore in Canada. Is this a popular, legit location? Because it's not in the US, it's for sure.
Chapters isn't a thing in the US?
It is not a thing. I've never heard of this location. So when you said it, it got me first thinking like, what is this place? Is this a Canada exclusive?
Yeah, Chapters is pretty huge. Like they have Starbucks inside. It's usually, I don't know the right term. Like if you're kind of a preppy, uppity person, you might try to take a date to Chapters. Oh, we'll go get coffee and sit down and discuss literary features we'll go through. Not exactly arcade heaven, but here we are.
So, I mean, here it is, though. I mean, it's a really legit looking listing with the price point, with the earning the points. It's added to the wish list, so it's not eligible for pre-order yet. But I mean, this was here, and it has everything from the about to everything that we've seen in Arcade1ups before. So everything that you'd see. Was there anything that was surprising when you took a look at the listing that made you look a little bit skeptical?
There's nothing there, and especially if you look at the other cabinets that they've kind of leaked as well.
Exactly.
Tron and the Marvel versus Capcom head-to-head, those are ones that were on our listings that we knew were coming as well. So like there is nothing here that makes me think any of this is out of the ordinary. This is the real deal.
So in addition to that, I mean, now that we have another go-to leak site that's posting stuff, I'm going to be bookmarking this webpage now because, again, we've not seen Tron, and this is an interesting price point. So are these Canadian prices or are these U.S. prices?
No, they're the Canadian prices. So that would be equivalent to what we're being charged in Canada for the Street Fighter 2.
$5.99 Big
Blue. Yeah.
Okay.
$5.99 Big Blue with stool. And I think this is the first look at the Tron stool as well. We've seen the Tron cabinet, but we haven't seen the stool yet.
Yeah, so I mean, that definitely is still a render, right? So that's just Photoshop that's slapped onto a little stool there. But I mean, it's something. It shows Disc of Tron and Tron, a little bit more of somewhat in a listing format than that fuzzy magazine that we saw from E3. So, I mean, in terms of a cleaned up image, this is it. This is the next thing that we've seen for Tron, and a price point that we didn't have before as a reference. So have you ever purchased anything from Chapters?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Like we buy most of our books from Chapters. It was a big deal when Chapters first came here because they offered the same books that our university was selling as textbooks. So the bookstore got up in arms and tried to get that blocked because you could go there and buy them for about 60% off.
Look at this detail, a little bit more of the plexi and the control panel side of things too. So, I mean, there's a little bit of glow to this that is a little bit nice with the Arcade1up. So I'm wondering if they're using different lighting or anything going on in here too. That would be really cool.
Well, with Tron, it's such a big deal because there's amazing art inside the cabinet. Like they have to do something to try to emulate that in order to make the cabinet as close to real as possible.
This is good. I'm excited about this. So it's promising. And then again, that last one that I don't think we've seen. I think we just saw the listing of this from that one listing site, right? That we never saw any images of this. So this might be the first image we've seen of the Marvel head-to-head cab, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really cool too. So again, you have Marvel characters, Capcom characters on one side, and I'm assuming on the other side, we will have is it showing the other side? Oh, it doesn't even have the other side on there too. But interesting. I like the design. It's simple. I mean, Marvel vs. Capcom is my favorite cab. So I mean, if this at least still has the online play functionality of it, that'd be interesting because again, that's the Marvel vs. Capcom cab is designed for one player to play online, but since it's head-to-head, it might be weird having that split screen and then still playing online, but I hope the functionality is there. That's cool. But let's get back to T2. But so this is an insta dive for you, first day?
Oh, 100%. I made a video there a couple of weeks ago talking about Arcade1up cabs that need to happen. And I listed 5. And this was the first game I listed. Like, for me, this is one of those iconic, like, first time I saw it in the arcade, I was mystified, in love with. This is a day one buy for me. $8.49. I'm all in. I'm going to do it. I don't care what else is on it. It has Terminator. I'm good.
All right. Well, in lieu of having the Super Game Rooms dude on tonight, and if you were having a heartbreak moment because you weren't going to talk to Pdubs and or MichaelB, I brought him back anyways because Pdubs is joining us. What's up, Pdubs?
Hey guys, how are you? How's it going?
I got to tell you a funny story now. Like right before I put this video up, we were having a conversation online. Nostalgia had canceled on us, and Pdubs said, "Oh, I don't think we're going to do a show tonight. You know, it's kind of a slow news week." Bang.
Sort of a slow news week. Well, Pdubs, what did you think when you first saw the news?
I'm withholding any excitement because you know how it is with Arcade1up, right? So I think the Terminator 2 cabinet is interesting, but it appears to only have one game on it, or one game listed so far, right? And I don't know, man. I mean, it's going to be $700 here in the States. Hold on, I got to sneeze.
Is that what 849 relates to for US?
$649.
$649. Okay, so $649 still would be right about less than what the latest $699 caps were, right? So it's still not the most expensive, but I mean, this is the unique controls that we're looking at. So my first look at these guns was really what I was most interested. I'm really interested in unique controls, and not only do we see some of the interesting technology, because this isn't your traditional light gun, by the way, right? So this is a rail gun. So this would be using an analog pot, similar to what the Star Wars yoke uses to navigate the screen. So it's not light gun tech.
We're not sure on that yet. We don't know. We don't know what they're doing here.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, in terms of the wires that are here, right? Like the if we looked at the Buck Hunter cab, which you still don't have a Buck Hunter, right?
No.
Well, wouldn't you assume though that they would be using their side-in technology?
That's what I think.
The Sinden tech. I don't think so. It's too close. So Sinden cameras need to see the full border in order for it to work.
You don't think those guns come out at all? You think they're literally going to be nose to the screen?
They have to be. I mean, that's how the T2 style rail guns work. You just move the gun and it moves the cursor on the screen. So this is a cursor on the screen. It's very much like Star Wars Arcade. You're just moving a cursor on the screen.
Yeah, those cables are pretty short as well.
Exact point.
Yeah, that's
this. But the handle also kind of worries me though. But well, actually, you might be right. Look how short the handles are. You might lift this up and hold it though. To your point.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to be that close to my Arcade1up machine.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're right. You might be lifting this to play.
Yeah.
It's too close. I mean, it looks like, in all honesty, like if you have to literally be how far you're literally
like right
you're 12 inches away from the screen. Like,
it's true.
If the guns don't come out, you're gonna be bending. You're literally gonna be playing like this, baby.
All right. You changed my mind. Looking at this photo now, yeah, look, your hand can't even hold it at that little short angle.
It's crap.
You'd have to have like little crippled hands to like be holding the gun there. So it absolutely has to.
So the other reason why I think that it's the Sinden technology, because I was talking to Scarlet Sprites over Twitter too, and he said, look at. Will it use the Sinden technology, blah blah blah, and we talked about it. In order for them to add other games, because these are mini multicades, that's what these are. They have one game that the art and everything's dedicated towards. Then they're going to put some other games on it. But I mean, other than Revolution and Operation Wolf, it's kind of hard to find other shooting games that might go on this that had that same style controller. But shooting games in general, they can throw on. They can do it with this. So.
I mean, look at how close that looks. I mean, come on.
That's okay.
What do you want to do? Do you want to put a 40-inch TV on it and stand back halfway across the room? Like,
no, I mean,
see, the original cabinet, you were right up on the screen too. That's how it worked.
I know, but original cabinets were original size. You know what I mean? Like,
I understand what you mean.
I've played on a real T2 cabinet, and I don't remember being this close to the goddamn screen. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. I think that looks bad. I think it looks bad. I think it's exciting because this is a game that people want, right? And a lot of people are like, we want this game and a few other of the more popular shooters, Area 51, Time Crisis, etc. So Terminator 2, big Hollywood franchise. I wasn't expecting them to get this one. I figured they would go Time Crisis or Area 51. So I mean, it's exciting what they're getting. Everything just looks so smashed to me. You know what I mean?
Kevgred is saying that you are pulling the panties back up because he has common sense. Well, I mean, you were talking.
Kev, come on now, Kev. I put out a video about this about 15 minutes ago, and in the video I said, "Here's the information, guys." And no, I'm not excited. I specifically said that in the video, so my panties were never dropped over this, Kev. Seriously.
Well, for unique controls, though, I mean, that's what at least gets me somewhat excited. Just to have another option out there for a 2-player Uzi cab, whether it's really, really close and extended, that's TBD. Like the way that these are attached now that I look at it, the Buck Hunter, if you don't know, uses kind of a similar cord. Like it's almost like you can just detach it, right? And then so it kind of looks like that now that I'm seeing it. So it's not going to be the traditional T2 right up holding it. It does look like a light gun cap.
I just don't remember being that smashed, but I guess they were.
Well, it's kind of doing a twofold approach. If you have it in it, it looks like the cab, but the gameplay you're going to have to pick it up to play. Like,
well, I mean, but it was a bigger cabinet though. So hang on a minute, I'm going to share my screen here for you.
Okay.
And that way you guys can see what this thing actually looked like. And yeah, I guess this crap was smashed up against the screen back then.
Yes, it was.
Let's do share screen.
Do it? Okay.
You have to add it.
By the way, you'll also notice that his backdrop now on his screen is the picture of your wife in the Daphne costume from last night. So that is firmly placed on his computer now at all times.
It's not. So, like, take a look right there. The picture on the right, the guns were pretty smashed up against the screen.
Yeah.
I just don't remember it being that awkward, though. I mean,
that's what it
was.
Well, I mean, but then again, we're talking it was a full-size machine. We're talking you're going to be hunched over a 3/4 scale arcade cabinet. You know what I mean? So is it going to feel a little bit more compact?
And knowing that now this is using the light gun tech, it actually pulls it back a little bit more because this is not, like I was saying, it's not a light gun game. It uses that potentiometer movement for accuracy because moving the cursor across the screen, like if you're holding the light gun and moving it, and you could play T2 on an emulator with a light gun, yes, but it plays best as a traditional rail game. Like you're saying, Revolution X, Steel Gunners 1 and 2, even Alien Gun to 3. There are a couple of good railgun gems out there that they could pair with this that use that style of play, but having a light gun now kind of opens that up.
Yeah, like I play Terminator 2 all the time on my At Games Legends Ultimate using the trackball, and I find that works pretty good, right?
Yeah. Because it's emulating a mouse cursor. So, I mean, emulation of the game, you can absolutely play it many a way. I was hoping it would be a mounted railgun, but now that I see it, it makes it interesting for me because you can't actually mod the light guns.
Yeah. So there is something interesting, too. In the ad, it says twice that there is force feedback in those guns. So how is that going to work?
Yeah, I would imagine solenoids are used in light guns to kind of produce that. So whether it's the solenoid feedback, if the gun for IR is a gun that I have where if you hold down the trigger, it actually goes da 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 da, and it feels really good too. So if they're using a light 12-volt solenoid inside, I can see them replicating that Uzi force feedback, which is a pretty cool feature. But the long-term effect that burns out quickly depending on how much power is being used to that. So yeah, I'm curious about the power that's going into that because the connections to the Buck Hunter it's like an Xbox 360 connection wire. Yeah. So you need additional power in order to run something like force feedback. So whether it's just the worst thing would be if it's just like vibrating. Imagine you're holding it and it just like buzzes. It's
so like one of Glenn's thunder sticks.
Yeah, exactly. If Glenn was hosting this and putting this together, that could be a cheap out way of doing force feedback, but it's still feedback. But Dubs, you're not excited about this. I'm curious about somebody else who was just inviting to the show. But go ahead, Dubs.
Well, if you take a look at this original and then you go here. Yeah, these guns aren't coming out. These guns are definitely locked in position here. you're not going to be able to take those out. It doesn't appear that way.
Why do you say that?
Just because
look at the handles. How are you going to hold them?
Yeah, your hands.
With 2 fingers. It's too small.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%.
The original ones are mounted permanently. Yes, that's how I thought it was going to be.
You know what? Well, if they do come out, I mean, look at how. This is a render. I mean, the cable might be longer.
Yeah,
but you still have to be relatively close. And then, but the other thing is, I don't see the white border that's needed for Sinden Tech. So on Buck Hunter, you needed the white border, and I don't think the way that that red and blue border is enough for the Sinden light guns to recognize that as a border. You need to see something that's truly bright, and for it to work.
That's true.
It's not even on there yet. So
yeah, that's
a lot
true.
TBD.
Yeah. Also, this is a render. This is not the final product.
A render. Who knows? But somebody who I don't know. Go ahead, Dubs.
I'm just not excited about one game. One game. I mean, guys, are you willing to pay $800, $700 for one game? Let me know in the live chat.
Yeah,
I would love to hear their feedback. I can't do it. I know some people love having their dedicated cabinets, but you know.
Stringer Film says, "I told you, Michael B. Thanks for the super chat, Stringer Films." And he also put in here, wrong. They come out there too short not to. This is the first time we're dissecting it. Like, this is live. I've not had a lot of chance to look at this. I thought they would be mounted, because that's how
people act like we designed these cabinets. We're trying to figure this shit out right now.
I know. Ralph says, I'm actually about to do a video on my OG T2, and there's so many features of this cabinet that would be very hard to recreate. The solenoid in this is super powerful, and that's the total experience of the cab. That's the force feedback we were just talking about. That feedback that we're looking for. I don't know how they're going to do it. So they've not done anything like that before in any of their arcade controllers. And their arcade controllers being able to hold up to that level of force feedback, and it's not just a one-time click. It's a that you need sustained.
I'm not going to be first. I'm not going to be first at this cabinet. I'll tell you that right now. What I need someone else.
Michael B will do it.
I need someone else to be brave, be bold, get this cabinet, make some videos on it, show me that it's worth buying, and then I'll get one. But I'm not leaping to get this thing.
So here's what happens. I buy it. I tell Dubs, it's the greatest thing ever. He buys it, then writes me and goes, "You're an idiot."
Oh, kind of like the Well, yeah. Anyone but Michael B, because he talked me into the Attack from Mars pinball machine, and that thing was a pile of crap.
Well, I'll be a day one buyer, but I'm going to be looking at modding it immediately, so I don't know if I'll be the right person to look at it too. But so the thing about Buck Hunter, the only mod I can do for it was the screen, like the controls itself. If it's using the Sinden light gun tech, the way they did Buck Hunter, it's non-reusable to use that tech for something else at the moment, right? There's just no way to use that version of the Sinden tech. So that's what gets me worried, if anything.
We should set up squares now. Whenever these leaks happen, when these retailers make these listings go live too soon, we need to set up squares. Like, what's the over under, and what time will this listing get yanked tomorrow? I'm guessing by 9:30 a.m. Eastern, it'll be gone.
Take your screenshots now, because otherwise here's the link.
I already did. Got all the photos, got all the details.
Got all the details. I mean, goodness. But before I bring in another guest, did you have any thoughts about the Tron listings or the Marvel vs. Capcom listing, Dubs?
Well, I mean, Tron only has Tron and discs of Tron, and I guess even though it's only 2 games, I guess I'm kind of okay with it because it fits the theme. You guys know me. I like more games. But I mean, what else are you going to put on here besides Tron and Discs of Tron, right? So
it's true.
I mean, but you got to admit though, it's a very cute cabinet. I mean, that's very. I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
If I was a Tron fan, which I'm not, sorry, Glenn. I know Glenn's out there. I would probably be drooling all over this thing if I was a Tron fan, but I'm just not. Tron just doesn't do it for me. I didn't grow up with Tron, so Tron wasn't my thing.
This render is different than the original one. The original one was more square, and this is actually looking more like a real Tron cab in terms of the shape. So that's absolutely wonderful feedback if they took it and redesigned this, because this shape has me way more excited, even though it's still a render, yes. But I like it way better than what we saw from the magazine shop. Whatever was there before.
The magazine shop was early production renders going out to retailers for them to consider bringing these in. These are the finished pictures sent out to the retailers so they can put their ads up. There's a big difference. This is a jump, right? It's not like Chapters Indigo did these pictures themselves. This came from Arcade1up to go on the site.
Yeah. We got another super chat from Spiders Evil that says they should include some other games, but as of late, with the crap going on Arcade1up, this does not surprise me. So that's true. Ralph also has another point that says this is going to be disappointing in comparison to the original. Sad but true, but don't want to piss into Cheerios. But it got so many things I had no idea where they were when I played this as a teenager. So there's a lot happening in the cab. You were going to say something?
Everybody's trying to make me not excited about this. I'm excited, damn it!
I'm so excited too.
Mike, I love this game, and I tell you what, I love playing it on my At Games Legends Ultimate. How's that sound? But no, the Marvel vs. Capcom cocktail cabinet, I can get behind this one because it's got a great lineup. The Marvel vs. Capcom, the actual 3/4 scale cabinet that I have is, like I told you guys, it's my number 3 Arcade1up cabinet of all time. Really well done cabinet. I expect you to kind of mirror that experience here on this cocktail table. I actually think this was a good one. I think this is a good one. Should have Wi-Fi, online play, all that kinds of stuff. Just like the 3/4 scale cabinet. I can get behind this one. I mean, I already have the 3/4 scale one, so I'm not going to buy this. But if I didn't, I would consider picking this up. I think this is a good one.
I like cocktail tables, but for classic arcade games, I don't understand why you would do a horizontal game and have them back to back that way with 2 screens. Like, that just doesn't do it for me at all. Like, if I'm going to do a cocktail table, I want it to be in the correct aspect ratio, and this just doesn't jam for me.
Oh, Akuma gave you $4 to say that Pdubs has an opinion. I'm sorry. Do you want me to drop my panties every time Arcade1up does something? They've burned too many bridges, guys.
It's good to have opinions for sure.
You got to hear the positives and the negatives. And I just said that this is something that I could probably get behind. I would probably support this product right here.
And to go against you as a person that plays that Marvel vs. Capcom cab all the time, playing a Wi-Fi online on half the screen would be kind of disappointing for me to use that as my main feature. But I mean, for those that have actual guests coming and they want to play head to head, this is great. But for the Wi-Fi online player, it kind of depends on your particular situation. And I don't think I've ever seen a versus cab in a cocktail format. These are more modern games that I don't think I've seen traditionally in a head-to-head cabinet. So interesting that they did this. And there's no like extra Wi-Fi button or anything like that too. So it's hopefully using the same technology and it gets more players in the cab. That's awesome. I brought another person here to see what he thinks. I don't know if his panties are on the floor. Jeff, how you feeling about all this stuff? Rainwater Games is in the house.
You guys, this is amazing. Don't listen to them. Michael B. This is awesome.
What's awesome?
All right.
Okay. No. Okay. Terminator 2, that's awesome. But that Tron stool? Did you see the stool?
Oh God, he's trolling. No.
I love that stool. I just want the stool. Somebody buy the cabinet and I will buy the stool from you.
Or you can get some vinyl and wrap it up as you need to. But Retro Ralph says, $14.99 super chat. This is money for your first 24-volt solenoid. FY, mod the gun. I'm sure you'll make it cool with the mods. Well, Ralph, that's why I wanted to go live, because I was going to say, what are the possibilities, saying what are the first things we can do in modding the T2 cab? And even when with the Tron cab, I was thinking, what could I do to automatically think about putting this in a light gun format? So my quick thoughts, because I've been asking Michael B and Pdubs and Jeff, you just got here, but things that excite me are the form factor, right? They didn't use a cookie cutter mold. It's unique and it actually looks like the cab, so they got that portion of it right. The guns we've never seen before in terms of having that in a shell. It's the Uzis. Still how they work, TBD. I'm based on these pictures now. I'm thinking that they look like that in the locations, just for looks if you're not playing the cab. But in order to play it, I feel like you'll have to lift it out because there's no way your hand can fit where that little thing is. But that's going to be a compromised experience for how you would play T2 normally, because you don't normally hold the Uzi in your hand, try to go gangster style on it. You're normally just holding it straight. So those are my initial thoughts, but I don't know what other modding possibilities are about this. But Jeff, I mean, truly, are you excited or are you not?
No, seriously, this does look really cool. Like some of the coolest stuff that Arcade1up comes out with are like the Star Wars with the yoke, like unique stuff. And this, like you said, it's not a cookie cutter cab. It's an excellent game. It's got some unique controls to it. It sounds like it, you know, I don't know what'd you say the conversion is, like $650 or something like that?
I think $649 to $699 is what you're looking at. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think this is more worth that price point than the Turtles one, you know. So, man, I need more space, and I also need somebody's credit card. If somebody, but no, I think this is going to sell like hotcakes. Well, I just hope those the guns aren't.
I got some good news for you, Rainwater. Thanks to Arcade1up's new strategy, you don't have to pay for this all up front. You can pay partially. It only needs $100 down payment originally. You can pay the rest.
Are you telling me this?
That's true. I mean, I did do the payment plan, but you can pay it off at any point that you want to. So, you know, for folks in the chat, I'm curious about where everybody's at. We've been having a really interesting debate about excitement, maybe some non-excitement. I'd like to do a quick informal poll to see if you are interested in the T2 cab, if this would be an immediate purchase for you. Put a 1 in the chat. If you're still skeptical and you're going to wait it out, put a 0. Let's see if we can get some informal survey feedback on the community's excitement. This is about an hour news. And I mean, if you had predictions, Michael B, what would you say the community is going to react to this once we see all the social media things picking up?
Depends on what community. So like the multi-cade community, I mean, obviously they're going to have very similar opinions to Pdubs. Doesn't have a lot of games. Oh, I can just play it on another cabinet. I don't need to buy this. But like the Arcade1up like fan base, they're really excited. I know already. I mean, like I've been getting messages nonstop since my video went up. So people in that community specifically are excited. Now the overall home arcade community, it's tough to gauge because then you'll get in-betweeners like myself that like everything. And I'm really excited for this, but you don't know. You're going to get some people that are still like Pdubs down there saying, this doesn't do it for me. I have questions and I already have a great way to play it.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, Mike, I'm just saying, like you just said, I have many ways I could play this game already. And then that's not even including an At Games arcade cabinet. There's other ways we could play this game just using the aim track guns. But, you know, I think majority community is going to be excited about this. Me, I have committed myself because of everything we've gone through to slow myself down, not get blinded by sparkles, new shiny things. I've committed myself to wait until more information comes out. As of now, this thing only has one game on it. And, you know, if it's going to be $700 for one game, I mean, no other games are mentioned here unless they just haven't been announced yet. I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean, someone wrote in the chat, just go buy one of the real cabinets. You can get them for $1,000. I mean,
could you really?
I don't know. I mean, is that a guarantee?
So I love real cabs. I think they're amazing. But at the same time, yeah, go buy a real cab. And then what happens when the cab stops working? Like, do you know everything about the insides of this cab and how to keep it running? That's why people buy Arcade1ups, because you don't have to worry about the CRT dying. You don't have to worry about the guns not working and then having to pay $800 to find a replacement gun online. Like, these are the quality, not the quality of life, but the, you know, minute details on why people would go with an option like this over a real cabinet.
Like I said, so to sum it up before you go to Jeff, like I said in the video I put out about this cabinet today, I'm going to hold back my excitement until more information comes out, as well as I need to see this thing demonstrated, some real footage of this cabinet by other people using it before I get excited. However, it's one of my favorite games of all time to play. So, and I think the community is going to be hyped about this thing, right?
Yep.
I'm being a little more passive moving forward, especially because if I'm going to drop $700 on an Arcade1up product in the future, it better be perfect. You know what I mean? And also, it better not be like,
some high expectations, Dubs.
Yeah. Well, no, because think about it, guys. If we're paying $700 for something now, look at these pinball machines, $850.
Yeah.
Should we wait 6 months for a patch to be released if these things aren't perfect when they're released and you spent $850 on the product? I mean, is 6 months? I mean, what? You get my $850, but I don't get a proper working machine for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Like the Attack from Mars pinball machine. Come on, guys. So I want to see this thing in action, reviewed. Everyone telling me it runs perfect, and maybe I'll get it. Maybe.
So Dunlap's gonna get it. He says, bottom line, if the guns are removable, it's a buy. Tron is a buy no matter what, and also great job, Mike, on the leak. So I mean, Mike, you leaked it. There's been some comments. There'll be some people getting there. But yeah, Jeff, did you have any other thoughts about how the
community? Oh man, well, I mean, Pdubs, that's very well said. That we are at these price points, we are all going to be a little bit.
There is
more
no more.
Right?
There is no more room for error. There is no more.
Right.
Oh, they'll get it right on the next game.
Exactly. So I mean,
if you're putting out a cabinet with one game, a cabinet with one game, it better be effing perfect.
So I'm sorry. When you were, before you met your wife, did you grow up with a girl that constantly cheated on you, and you were like, one day she's probably not going to cheat on me again? Because Arcade1up's never going to get it right, buddy. You're saying you're never going to buy another.
There's going to be flaws. Yeah.
But I understand mistakes happen, but come on, the really bad mistakes. Come on.
Do you mean like the marker where they fix in the dents and scratches, or do you mean like the big mistakes?
If you're going to troll me, I'm not going to respond to that, Mike.
I'm not trolling you.
I'm being serious. For $850, Arcade1up needs to step it up on these cabinets. These cabinets need to be much better quality controlled for us to spend this much money. You want to give me a half-ass working cabinet for $300? I totally understand that. But for $850, they're better. The margin for error is unacceptable. You know what I'm saying?
So I agree with
Canadian
you,
money.
Pdubs,
That's Canadian money.
But I'm optimistic too. I think, at the same time, while it's like I'm not gonna pre-order this, right? I mean, like I said, I don't have the space right now anyway. But like, I'm optimistic, and you're right. I want to see what other people have to say about it because Arcade1up's had a history, but I'm optimistic. I'm hoping that this is going to be really good, and it looks beautiful. I'm excited. I really am excited. And this is the kind of thing that Arcade1up needs to have leak right now because the press hasn't been the best in the last few months here for them. So I think seeing this come out there, if they get behind this and embrace this, and they need a win right now is what they really need. And honestly, that Tron stool, guys, I'm telling you, that Tron stool looks amazing.
Enough with the stool, bro.
Okay, have you guys looked at the Killer Instinct though? Does this look like? I mean, were we seeing anything new here we haven't seen on the Killer Instinct either? Because that looks.
I didn't really pay much attention to that ad, to tell you the truth. I was.
We all saw the T2 and went.
Yeah. Also, I'm not as excited for Killer Instinct as everybody else. I know everybody's like, "Oh my god, Killer Instinct!" I'm just like,
yeah. Killer Instinct is very exciting.
The price point at
design looks like what we saw before, right? Because weren't they tweaking some things with the design of that cabinet as well? Something like the angle of the screen or something.
Yeah, it was more closer. The original design concept, it was more closer to what the Legacy cab looks like, but you can tell here it's got more of an angled screen.
Yeah, it definitely looks a little bit more updated. So, I mean, the render of this stool itself, but I'm glad they're taking some of the feedback. If anything, like the Battletoads logo is still there. So that's good news, right? That there's still additional games for whatever that's worth. But that's what's on Killer Instinct. You got KI1, 2, and Battletoads.
That stool is horrible.
Yeah, that stool. I don't know about that one, but
yeah.
But
what,
the Tron
that one?
Stool.
The Killer Instinct stool right there?
With spinal.
You don't like it? I like it. Sometimes, Mike, less is more. Less is more sometimes. So I just like the one character on there. I think that's fine.
Yeah, but
more is more. More is more with color. This is going to the game room.
You just want to disagree with each other at this point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do want to talk about the actual technology side of things. So just to give you some perspective of somebody who's owned Buck Hunter, I don't think anybody do. Mike, Dubs, do you have a Buck Hunter?
No, I do not.
You don't? So just talk about the technology that they're using in this and the value of this cab at US around $650 to $699 per what MichaelB is saying. So this is akin to
people in the comments. I guess there's people coming in late, guys. Yeah. These are Canadian prices. Everybody, calm down.
Canadian prices, right? So for US, it's almost very similar to between TMNT cost of it, the 4-player cabs, and what the big blue was at $599. So, but this is new controls and new tech. So in value wise, it's not just a button and sticks. There's so much more technology that has to go into this type of technology for it. But whether it's using pots or actual light gun technology, there's going to be a limit. That's probably why there's not a lot of additional games on here, because when you start mixing the Uzi light gun control, you can't do like a Time Crisis because it needs additional buttons. Like I don't remember, I think T2 had an extra button for a grenade, correct? So there's a trigger and then there's a button for a grenade. So there's at least 2 buttons you would have on something like this.
Yeah.
Anybody remember? So then you have 2 buttons that you can use. And so there's just that handful of games that you can do. Operation Wolf, Alien 3, The Gun, which is a great game that runs similar to this. Operation Wolf and the Steel Gunner games. So if they add any of those into this, that would be kind of what I would be looking at modding and seeing if we could. But the closeness of this is also what gets me worried about the location of everything else.
Yeah, but if you own Big Buck Hunter, can't you take the cord off that and throw it on these and extend the guns so you can go back a little bit?
You can, but if it is using the Sinden tech though, then it's just everything that I've done and plugging in the USB cord, it pretty much just registers as a camera, and then that's the only thing you can do with it. It just becomes a glorified webcam. Yeah. So if it is Sinden tech, modding wise, you probably aren't going to be making this a light gun cab to emulate everything else. If they somehow, which I doubt, make it into a actual railgun, then that would have been more exciting for me. So the shine is a little bit off now that I know that it's going to be using light gun tech, which is interesting.
We know that for certain?
No, we don't. We don't know that.
The only thing that gets me is that the cord looks very similar to the Buck Hunter, as well as being able to pull out. And if it lifts up at all, it can't be a railgun. There's no way for the potentiometers like a Star Wars yoke for it to register movement. So if it's not stationary, it's using light gun tech.
Yeah, why would they have those cords there at all if it was stationary? What's the point?
That's true. That's another good point about it being probably pulling out, because otherwise you would need to have.
You got to pull out, bro.
Yeah, I'm a champion at pulling out.
Yeah, so it's exciting because, guys, it's not a Street Fighter cabinet, it's not a Pac-Man cabinet, it's Terminator. Like this is the stuff we want to see from Arcade1up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't get as excited as I used to be these days. You know what I mean? Not until they start hitting some more home runs again. So hopefully this will be a home run cabinet. It looks cool. I mean, it looks cool. It looks great.
Yeah.
So. When Arcade1up came out, we all talked about arcade games we all wanted to see, like Turtles, stuff like Terminator 2, Star Wars, and we said they'll never be big enough to get the rights to do that. So it's kind of cool to see this. Now, I saw some people in the chat saying, why do I have to support Arcade1up? No one has to support anybody, man. Just do your own thing. I have always preached about this. If you're not excited about this, I'm not going to try to get you excited about it. I'm excited about it, so I'm showing my enthusiasm. If you don't care, cool. You don't have to care, but don't try to bring anybody else down either.
Oh, if we can't be lovers, can't we be friends? From Michael Bolton himself. I like what C Smart just wrote. Maybe they have the option where you could play it in the mounted position, or you could take the guns out if you're tall. If you're taller, if you think about it, like the original arcade game, these guns were chest height. The guns were like at your chest level. These guns, think about an Arcade1up control deck. Is that at your chest level? No, that's at your waist. So, so these are going to be, so instead of being like Terminator up here, you're going to be like, down here. Like,
wiener gun.
You know what I'm saying? It's the wiener gun. It's the wiener gun cabinet. So, you can
dual wield. I know you're good at that, right?
So hopefully the guns do come out. That way you can get up here. You know what I mean? Especially for us taller folk.
There's no doubt in my mind from these pictures that they do, because in order for that to stay stationary, you'd have to be able to rotate it left and right. And just looking at that picture, it's a square base, not like something that you can turn it. So everything is pointing to removable guns. Just looking at the nozzle, by the way, that barrel is almost the same size. I'm probably can think it's pretty much the same camera size as Big Buck would be to have the camera inside of it. So the orange tip looks very similar to what the Big Bunter gun would be. And then this cord looks very similar to what the Big Buck Hunter cord looks like as well.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do some final thoughts and kind of wrap this up as we want to make this a quick possibilities, thoughts, and breaking it down just to have a conversation on a Friday night. So I'll start with Rainwater Games. Kind of final thoughts. Thanks for joining in. What are your thoughts on T2 and anything else that you might have seen today?
Well, I was not a fan of the Big Buck Hunter because I thought, a 17-inch screen, with the light guns and stuff, I'm like, that's just not going to work. You need a bigger screen. But I think having, the stationary guns, I think this will work better. I think this will work better than the Big Buck Hunter. I'm with Pdub. I'm cautious about this one, but I'm optimistic. So, can I be a milquetoast fence sitter right in between the two guys here? I say like, I'm cautious, but I'm optimistic, and I'm excited, but I'm, it looks cool. It looks cool. And somebody sell me that Tron stool.
You gotta love that stool. I'll hook you up with somebody that can make you a vinyl stool. How's that?
I know someone's gonna get the cab and they're gonna be like, I've got 20 stools already. I don't need this. Here you go, Rainwater.
We actually don't need a lot of stools with every single purchase. That's one thing I wish they wouldn't do is bundle stools with everything. Sell me the base and sell that separately as an accessory.
Can I just double on that? That's what sucked about the price increases. It wasn't that the price went up; it's that they sold us the top package too. So it made the price it made the price increase look gigantic. And I'm sure that they had to go up to this level, and that the stools cost like pennies on a dollar, right? So they threw them in. But still, all that bundled together makes it feel just so ginormous when it was just probably a little bit smaller price increase without them.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Dubs, any final thoughts about this leak? And have you heard of Chapters Indigo before? I asked Michael B before you joined in. Did you know this is a real legit place?
No, I did not know. I did not know until today. So, but I guess it is real, which means this cabinet must be real. If it's on the internet, it's real.
That'll be real.
But I'm going to proceed with caution. I'm excited about the cabinet, excited about the license, excited about the game. This is one of my favorite shooting arcade games to play. And if Arcade1up has secured this, that is a win. Obviously, we need more information. We got to understand the light gun technology behind this game. And do those guns come out? Is it a rail? Are they permanently mounted in there? Are you going to be shooting like Rambo, or can you get the gun up here where it should be? On the original arcade, because these are 3/4 scale cabinets. I think that this is it's one I'm interested in, but I'm not dropping my panties just yet, Michael B. Not until we get a little more information. Now, Michael B, go ahead. You might as well just turn around and show us the full moon, brother. Show us the full moon.
I don't know why you equate being exciting about something to being buffed in the butt, but anyways.
Here we go.
But anyways, I made a video about this a while ago, and I said, Arcade1up, you make this cabinet. This is a dream cabinet for me. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
They made the cabinet. I'm going to buy it. I'm excited for this. I'm not surprised that it isn't the same gun technology that the original uses, because once they released Buck Hunter, we knew going forward that's the gun technology they were going to use. This is one of the top 50 arcade cabinets of all time. It fits their roadmap. So I'm really excited. This is a big part of my youth and the childhood, and I like multicades. I already have a way to play it, but I also want to create and emulate an arcade in my house. And this is one of the games I've always wanted in that arcade. So I'm excited to add this. Price point still sucks. I hate $849, but it is what it is.
And is it only going to be one game?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not. I did want to mention on that. The problem with this stuff is the licensing and not the way you think, because they're working with that company to do the title, like the company that owns T2. I can't remember which company owns it, but that company then also has to sign off on any other game that would go in the cabinet. So that's where this becomes tricky, right? That's why Turtles might only have 2 games, because Nickelodeon's like, no, we don't want that other stuff represented with our product. So it's tough.
Yeah. And again, this is it Midway that made T2, the company? So yeah, in terms of other licenses, I'm sure that would be difficult to secure other things.
This was Midway 1991.
The last thing about the tech too, if it's Sinden tech, the camera, like the accuracy of Buck Hunter is so dependent on your external lighting. and then that one you don't see the cursor on the screen. This is a game where the cursor is permanently on the screen. You can see it in this picture, in this picture, that there's a little blue cursor right in the middle of the screen. So you will be dragging that across the screen. And I can tell you one thing, dragging a cursor across the screen using a light gun is not as fun as that positional gun, because if there's a drag, I would move it like this across and it will take a little bit of time to get there. So the gameplay experience of using a light gun to play a rail gun is not as satisfying as having it positioned and moving it around. So that also worries me.
So this one has the light up marquee, and we're also assuming that it's using Sinden. There's a chance there might be a light bar in this, and this might be more like the Wii technology, especially where that cursor is going to move directly. Does that make sense?
Say that one more time.
Like the Wii sensor bar technology,
yeah.
I don't know if it has that.
No, it doesn't have the sensor bar technology. So I mean, it has to have the border. It has to have the white border that's not in this picture in order for it to be sensed. And
I'm saying this might be different.
You think it might be different?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You have a super chat from Tony C.
I do. Jeff, you can have my Tron stool when he gets Tron. You got a stool guy that's helping you out.
Tony lives like 20 minutes away from me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to send Rex at the Rexer show my Marvel vs. Capcom stool, and which is funny too, because as you guys know, Rex he's not an Arcade1up fan at all.
Loves the stools.
He wants the stool, so
Yeah,
I'm going to ship him my Marvel vs. Cap. I never assembled it; it's still in its box. I got to send him that. He can have it. He can have it. I have too many. I have stools all over my garage, Mike. All these Arcade1up stools. There's too many of them.
That's crazy. All right. Yeah. Well, my final thoughts on the cab. I mean, from a news standpoint, it was just completely unexpected. So the shock of seeing something new is the thrill that gives me, just that rush of it's something that we haven't seen. It's a brand new controlled deck that I said I would not buy another Arcade1up unless one, it had Wi-Fi gaming capability, which most of them do now. So I kind of take it back that, or if it has unique controls. So
put 2Die4's comment up there at 709. This absolutely confirms that these guns have to come out, because if you try swinging the gun to the left or the right, what's going to happen if they sit in there? They're going to hit the side panels,
or each other.
Bobby, you're the smartest man alive.
So there was something else in the ad that I don't know if you guys brought up, but it actually describes that they're going to have online leaderboards. So this is going to be a Wi-Fi cab, and it is going to track scores.
I like that.
Yeah.
So if you have to pull these guns out, are they giving us something that we put them on, or are we going to have a bunch of people with TV trays sitting in front of their Arcade1ups? Like how? What do you put it on?
No, you're holding it like a light gun. So you're holding it close to the screen. Look how close the cords are. They're not that big. So you're holding it like an Uzi right in front of the screen.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So you're right, Michael B. There might be some other tech in here, because the Sinden gun on Buck Hunter needs to be a good 3 to 4 feet away from the cab for it to actually register the whole entire screen. So there might be something new in here that could be brand new. Who knows?
You're telling me if a little kid isn't standing in front of this cabinet swinging the gun around, they're not going to accidentally turn it too far and possibly hit the sides of the cabinet? Seriously. Sorry, I just saw Stringer Films super chat.
I see what he's saying is
aim off screen.
Like aiming off screen. I'd be more worried about hitting the other gun if I'm shooting across the screen, right?
Yeah.
But if it's a railgun and it's positional, like
hopefully
if it was mounted, I mean, it's never really accurate. Like you can move it to the left. I don't think it ever was truly pointing at the corner. Yeah. You just kind of felt like you're moving the cursor. And then once you see your cursor on screen, that becomes your positional point of reference, right?
I think you might be right. I think you just pick these up off there and they just have it mounted there because that's the look that they were going for. Yeah.
Yeah, the cursor movement without the mounted gun is throwing me off. There's a lot to be answered, and I'm sure we'll get no official word from Arcade1up. This listing may be gone tomorrow. No. So speculate now while you can. This
will be in Costco by Monday.
It'll be.
Or no, most likely QVC, because they ship, they get it up and they ship it like next day, and it's like, where did this come from? So the surprise secrets that Arcade1up is having out there, But I'm excited at least that they're still continuing to do things outside of what they've promised from their main announcement event. So that's, if there's any indication that they're still planning stuff, this is at least good news for the planning cycle for Arcade1up. So that makes me happy. Any last thoughts and words from you guys that you want to mention?
We didn't want to do Super Game Room dudes tonight because we thought it was going to be a slow news week, and sure enough, this popped up. And also, too, Nostalgia had stuff to do. I've been very grumpy today, as you could tell.
Yeah, I can tell.
I've been so my apologies, guys. I've been in a pretty foul mood all day. But yeah, guys. Thanks so much for having us on, B. We greatly appreciate it. And
well, you can't be grumpy if you bring on one of your favorite persons in the world. Brad O'Connor, what's going on, man?
Oh, Brad is legit.
Hey.
Can you cheer up Dubs a little bit? He's feeling a little blue. Is there something that you can do to
tell me a joke?
Pdubs is legit.
Thank you, Brad.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can't hear you, Brad.
Oh wait.
Do you have Terminator 2 in your background?
He's got it right there. Oh no, that's his BitPixel on right, his ALU.
He's trying to show us off that he's got you don't need to purchase it because you can play it many a way. I think he's just giving us a little teaser that yes, it can be done if you have
I think that vibrating noise, that's one of Glenn's thunder sticks.
Yeah, but here's where Arcade1up will do a better job than AtGames on this. Is setting up the AtGames light guns is a pain in the ass process, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this, you're going to turn on the cabinet, it's going to work, right? At least it should, right? Out of the box, you turn on the cabinet, it works, right? You don't have to you might have to do some calibration, but nothing crazy. Not like trying to find the perfect place to mount your sensor bar and all that stuff. So
light gun tech is still one of the hardest things to emulate. Even if they're doing it commercially through this with the CRT or not CRT, with an LCD, and whether it's a border or a thing, it's still not going to replicate the truest arcade experience because of that compromise they have to make. So I'm skeptical about a position shooter using light gun games. So that's probably one of my bigger turnoffs of the cab, if anything. But I'm excited overall.
Well, they have Sinden, and Sinden's like the best, right? So I'm glad to see that they're using it, if that's what they're using.
So can we get to something? Listen, Pdubs, I love you. I love you. I don't want you to be grumpy. Why would you be grumpy? Someone flew to space on a dick the other day. Like, there's literally nothing to be grumpy about.
What are you talking about?
They sent a dick into space, and his space shuttle looked like a dick too.
No, that doesn't interest me. So that doesn't excite me.
I just want you to be okay, my friend. You're wearing all this Superman merch. I don't know why you're grumpy.
Yeah, what would make you happy, Dubs? What we can do to put a smile on Dubs' face? Put some recommendations on how we can make Dubs happy for a Friday night. This is Super Game Room Dubs, where you should be hosting and having a good time. And I'm feeling like this is you still have I hate Mondays feel.
That's why we canceled the show. Mike's like, Pdubs, it's 4:00. We haven't heard from you all day. Are we doing a show? I'm like, no, we're not doing a show today.
All right. Downer Dubs.
But thanks for everyone saying funny stuff in the live chat. Yeah, it's been raining here in Arizona. I've been up since like 3:30, so this morning. So no nap. I'm grumpy. I'm old. I'm an old man now. It's wrong day for new cabinets to leak out. Michael B, I'll tell you what. Tomorrow we're gonna go live and be like, Terminator 2! Oh my God!
He's just gonna have his energy drink first, and then
Go play some games, everybody. Have a wonderful drink and have a great night. Thanks for watching, everybody, and keep gaming. See you later, bye.
Later, nerds.